Did you see the official announcement of the induction or indictment? She's had both of Lia Maivia, the first female wrestling promoter. That was a quote.
Give me a break.
To be inducted by The Rock at the Hall of Fame. She was the first female wrestling promoter in the state of Hawaii. Christine Jarrett beat her as a promoter by about 12 years and had, at that point in time, 37 years total in the wrestling business. Eileen Eaton may have been in name only. She wasn't in the locker room giving the boys their finishes, but that goes back to, what, the 60s?
And Gunkel beat her.
And Gunkel was 72 to 74 with a not well-received return in around 87. And we can't forget the illustrious Miriam Springfield down in Tupelo in 1982. But otherwise than that, and a few other people whose names we aren't even mentioning, Lia Maivia was the first female wrestling promoter.
Again, it's the WWE Hall of Fame, so you try not to go too crazy because it's not, you can argue about what is a Hall of Fame and what isn't. This is really just, let's give certain people a gift.
It's not Cooperstown.
It's not Cooperstown. And Cooperstown's not even what it used to be, but it's not even that. And Lia Maivia...
Cooperstown used to be a place you could get laid with a fucking...
For anyone who doesn't know about wrestling history, let me just say, Lia Maivia is in no way a Hall of Fame wrestling promoter. She was not a trailblazer. There is no one who followed that trail. She's not a trailblazer in any way.
It was the end of the road, wasn't it?
That was the end of the road. There's a great book. It's just a fantastic book. It's still available that before he passed away, Ed Francis did, called 50th State Big Time Wrestling. And it's all about the history of wrestling in Hawaii under Ed Francis, who bought it from Al Karasik. And later, after they brought it back and things weren't working out, Peter Maivia obviously bought in with his wife, and when Peter Maivia died, Lia Maivia, The Rock's grandmother, took over. Ed Francis writes in the book, yeah, we came back to Hawaii and we got messages from Lia Maivia threatening us. Threatening Gentleman Ed Francis. Lia Maivia was threatening him for just being in Hawaii. You better not try anything. You better not, open up. You better not do anything. She really thought it was like a territorial thing, but the difference is, other than the threats and the actual violence that could come from the threats, there was nothing promotional. There was no promotional muscle behind it. Her and Lars Anderson, as a name forgotten in this story as people are telling it, weren't lighting the world on fire.
No.
In Honolulu.
And now, to be fair, they still had names for the first couple of years to come in because of the respect and connections that Peter Maivia had.
And the connections and the flights. That's what it was.
And the fact that a lot of guys wanted to get paid something to go to Hawaii for free. But no, this was not the glory period. And the thing is also, this was not a business that she started. As you said, it was a failing business that her husband had bought and she inherited. And that was the end of, when she went out of business, so did local territorial wrestling in the state of Hawaii. So Hall of Fame career, I'm not sure, I would have voted for Mrs. Springfield.
There's two ways to look at it, too. One is The Rock wanted his grandmother in the Hall of Fame, which, again, you could say she's in your grandmother Hall of Fame, but this is a wrestling Hall of Fame. How are you supposed to take it seriously? This is like putting in Vince McMahon's driver, James Dudley.
They did that.
I know.
That year, I had to ask, me who was having to tell everybody in the studio who some of these people were when they would induct them in terms of the historical wrestling figures. And when I heard that announcement, I asked Bruce, I said, who's James Dudley? I had never heard that name. They called him manager extraordinaire. And he said it was Vince Sr.'s limo driver. They were very close. And I said, how was he a manager? And he said, back in the early 60s, when Bobo Brazil was the top guy in Washington, D.C., because the African-American population, Vince Sr. would send James out to get Bobo's jacket so he could get a round of applause from the crowd. Okay.
Exactly. This is a gift. this is a gift thing for The Rock. So the question is, did The Rock ask for it? Or did Triple H strategically, because they keep saying this is Triple H's first year of picking the Hall of Famers, did Triple H strategically say, I'm going to give The Rock a win here, and I'm going to put his grandmother in the Hall of Fame, that'll make Dewey happy?
To get The Rock to do the induction speech for their broadcast.
That's right.
Who else at this, Rocky Johnson's already in. Who else would, Peter Maivia's already in. Rock could have inducted his daughter, but she's not going to be in for a couple more years. She's already in management. So anyway.
Is this a redeemable thing if they do an angle? They're in the Hall of Fame. They're in the Rock speech for Lia Maivia. They do some kind of angle.
The baby faces come out and bust the plaque over Roman's head.
Let me tell the truth about his family. Yeah, that's something like that.
I'm not sure. I think that one will probably be angle free if I had my...
Yeah, me too. But the WWE Hall of Fame, anyone can get into it except Jim Cornette. They're going to put your driver in before they put you in.
That's a bridge too far. Oh, everybody knows I always drove myself. And then they had a girls' tag team match.